Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now, but I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2017 career mode. We're back with episode number 40 today for Season 2's finale at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And even when Chris is sort of happy, he also has to be sort of sad. I give up with the guy. I give up with him. It's 2 seasons in. I'm done with him. I'm done. He's given us our reports to kind of give us a comparison. The sentence started off pretty nice. You know, he's happy with where the car's progressing. But now he's kind of annoyed because we've lost one kind of upgrade point there. You can see to Force India. Force India have brought a final upgrade for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It won't matter too much. We're not in a fight with Force India, but it is interesting to see the kind of yo-yo of that development comparison chart pretty much between me and Force India, making a bit of a diamond shape there, and then they've kind of leapfrogged us once again, which is yeah, I mean, it's been a frustrating season in terms of the R&D as a whole. Of course, we did a lot of, reliability upgrades in the first half of the season. And of course, there was that really long period where we're waiting for that major upgrade. And even when we've kind of matched, quote unquote, matched Force India, we still haven't even leaped them or Williams in the chart, which has been a little bit frustrating to actually look at. But, all in all, our car has felt better. And obviously, me and Nico have brought home the points so far this season compared to Force India and Williams. So we can't complain in that department, but something that I can complain about is Chris, who just, I'm just dumb. I'm just done with him. Anyway, we're going to move into practice then, and for the last time this season, we'll be doing the practice programs. Of course, like we said last time out, really, we're just getting the points to save up, pretty much. We're just banking them, and we're going to wait till the end of this race, pretty much, this episode, to then maybe look at spending any points, because, of course, over the winter period, quote-unquote, again, winter period, it's not really a winter period as such in the game, but from going from Abu Dhabi to the next race, which is Australia in Season 3, there is no lag time for the upgrade. Any upgrades you purchase pretty much get done for Australia. I believe there is still a chance of them failing for Australia, which would be pretty damn harsh, but you can get them all done for Australia. Let's say if you buy 2 or 3 at the same time, they'll all get done for Australia at the same time instead of having to wait 4 races. So it's the perfect time to do any upgrade. Anyways, before we get into qualifying, there was the task of getting a brand new rival. We actually beat Felipe Massa in the last episode. We've actually had him twice so far this season because we drew the first rivalry with him, and then we managed to beat him at the end of the last episode. So a brand new rival for the last race of the season, which is a little bit odd because I'm pretty sure we get given a new rival for the new season. I think maybe not. Maybe we'll keep Esteban Ocon, which would be kind of cool. Kind of go off into the next season having the same rival. But of course, Esteban Ocon, no stranger to us in terms of a rival. I believe we had him at least once in the first season with Toro Rosso there. So good to have him back. I mean, Force India's, they've just upgraded their car, so I guess it kind of makes sense for them to be our rivals. I mean, Chris was upset about them jumping back ahead of us by 1 entire unit, so maybe that's why the game's given us one of the Force India drivers as a rival, because in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we're nowhere near any Force India drivers, but there you go. Anyway, we moved through Q1 very, very quickly indeed. We set 1 flying lap, and I go through, fast-forwarding through, and that was actually enough. So for the first time in a while, actually, I only did 1 flying lap in Q1, and that was good enough. Nico did beat us in the end, but that's all fine. And then going into Q2, doing the exact same strategy we've done now for the last 3 rounds, which has been going on the super soft tyres, the middle, I was about to say medium, the middle tyre set of the 3 available. Of course, it's ultra soft, super soft, and then the soft tyres for this final race. So we're on that red wall, super soft tyres, and this is the tyre we'll start on. Of course, Abu Dhabi, I don't think it's ever rained at Abu Dhabi during a race or even in like the region of this circuit at all in this country. So I don't think we're going to have any issues of us having not to start on this tyre, and that is going to open us up to a very good strategy. And we do make into Q3, just about. We get into P10 there, so it could have been very easily if it could have been out of Q2 if Grosjean or Ocon picked up their pace a little bit, but Hulkenberg goes really well. But you can see the delta time between me and Nico is actually pretty much just about how you expect the super soft and ultra soft to perform. So really, it was a case of Grosjean and Ocon just not doing the job they should have done in Q2. But That's going to really open us up for some great strategy work here at Abu Dhabi, because it's going to mean probably a one-stop compared to a two-stop here, and that's going to help us out quite a lot. Obviously at Brazil, we had that rain, so that was a little bit different, and at Mexico, it wasn't ever going to be a one-stop, but we, just tried our best, really. Whereas at Abu Dhabi, the one-stop definitely is going to be on the cards, with the soft tyre being available here. And so in Q3, as I was just talking about the strategy there, just did our lap and pretty much got the best of the rest, best we could have hoped for there in 7th place. Hulkenberg really didn't perform too well. He's down in P10. For the championship, though, not for us, but for Ferrari's sake, for Vettel and Raikkonen, remember, there's only 9 points in it between Vettel and Raikkonen, and Vettel out-qualifies Raikkonen there for P3. Both Mercedes lock out the front row, so that's going to add a bit of spice into that battle, and Kimi will kind of be glad the two Mercs are on the front row at least, because that means that Vettel can't get that 9-point lead gap between them. So it's going to be very interesting, not only for us, but also for the actual championship leaders and what happens there for the Drivers' World Championship. So let's go ahead to the season finale of Season 2. Let's look at the grid and see what crazy penalty is going to inevitably come our way.
Joining me to talk you through the action today is Anthony Davidson. And give us an idea of what kind of thing you're going to be looking out for today.
Well, the big question for me is whether or not we're going to see the cars able to follow each other closely enough to overtake, especially through the fast sections here. Of course, we've got DRS, and that will help on the straights, but it's still no good if you're coming off the previous corner too slowly or too far behind.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo and a Renault, Daniel Kvyat and Wehrlein, Ericsson, Magnussen, Van Dorn and Sergio Perez, Hulkenberg, Grosjean, Sebastian Vettel and Raikkonen, Alonso, Verstappen, Lance Stroll and Carlos Sainz. Ocon and Felipe Massa completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So for the final time this season, here we are on the grid, and once again for the last 3 rounds, we've got these grid penalties, well actually 4 rounds technically. We've got these grid penalties that are helping us out, and we're up into P4 now. So second row of the grid alongside Daniel Ricciardo, with Nico Hulkenberg and Max Verstappen down the order once again. So those two, we'll see if they get into the points, but it looks like it's going to be a straight fight between myself and Ricciardo on track then. Remember, we are just ahead of Red Bull Racing, but they can easily overtake us again in the Constructors for P3. It would be great to keep that P3. That was the ultimate maybe goal that we decided on halfway through this season. So that's the goal for us. Obviously for the race itself, we've got the 2 Mercs still locking up the front row and the 2 Ferraris down the order. So that's going to also mean big things for the championship, potentially for the Drivers' Championship, for the actual fight there for the crown for this season. But we move to the strategy. You can see that one stop I was talking about, super soft to soft tires, filling up for quite a bit of fuel, and we'll just see how it goes really and try and make this conservative one-stop work, and hopefully that will be it to seal out the season for us as we go to 5 red lights for the final time this season at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Who's going to win the World Drivers' Championship? 5 red lights are out, and we're underway here from P4 on the grid. It's an okay start for us. Up into Rich Mix, though, to try and get down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo if we can. We go side by side, banging tyres a little bit on the right-hand side there. We're going to get the inside line, force him out, and we're up into P3 then successfully, as it's Lewis Hamilton from Valtteri Bottas, myself, Daniel Ricciardo, and he's lost a lot of speed there. You can see on the replay camera here, a big train forming behind him, so he lost a lot of momentum in turn 3 then, but you can see the 2 Mercedes cars are already bolting so far, so I think we may have a bit of a tough Grand Prix ahead of us, because it looks like already the pace is not great. As we move later into the race, it's not actually me that's on the move here, or even Ricciardo, it's Daniel Kvyat, the Russian, in the Toro Rosso, and so technically my old car from Season 1, I technically had Kvyat's car, is the one that's going to make a move on Daniel Ricciardo to help me out potentially, as he goes down the inside, and he's mugged him off, and it looks like once again, just like Brazil, Red Bull have put too much downforce on the car, and as Ricciardo goes over that right-hander, over the bump, he loses a lot more time, and now he's got one of the Haas cars haggling him on the right-hand side, and one of the Force Indias not too far behind, and Ricciardo's lost 2 positions then in the span of 2 little straights there, so Ricciardo going backwards, and that's absolutely wonderful news for us. So you can see there as we go through ahead of Kvyat, and then one of the Haas cars, I can't quite tell who it is, I think it may be Kevin Magnussen, But we move on to lap 3 then, and now Kvyat's going to be on the charge of me, so it may not just be the Red Bull being a bit slow. The Toro Rosso is pretty damn decent in a straight line, looks like. Low drag set up potentially, and so into the chicane we've gone as deep as possible to defend from Daniel Kvyat, but he's stuck it around the outside. I'm going to have to leave him the room there. You can see the proximity arrow is lit up red, so he's still very much there, and you can see on the replay camera now as we go down this back straight, he's got DRS open as well, so he's got the straight line advantage. But we're going to have to try as hard as we can to outbrake him. He actually does outbrake us initially, but then in the second phase of it, we do manage to keep the car in there, and we just about keep it neck and neck through that very tight section. Very difficult to do, let alone in these new 2017 wide cars, and we just about make it round the outside on that left-hander to keep P3 for now. We straight on the car a lot faster than him, and we're able to get the traction there. So for now, keeping the podium position, but you can just see the pace difference to the Mercedes cars on the mini-map there. They were nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, away from us, the other Renault car of Nico Hülkenberg has now the Ferrari for contention, as Kimi Raikkonen overtakes him. Sebastian Vettel overtakes the Sauber up ahead. Surprising to really say that, really, but this is for... Oh, what the hell? Oh, Mo, what has happened there? I was about to say 4th position. Odd to see Ferrari having to overtake a Sauber 4th position, but Vettel having a very interesting moment there with the Sauber. I don't know if that's going to cause any issues. I don't believe that will be... I don't think that's going to be given as any sort of penalty. I think it was just unfortunate racing incident of the two Sauber, of the Sauber and the Ferrari. The wheels interlocked pretty much, and he just got spanned pretty much like at the Belgium Grand Prix where we saw Massa spin, I think it was, in that episode earlier on this season. But anyway, you can now see the two Ferraris getting on the back of Daniel Ricciardo now. So that's how far Ricciardo has fallen. He's not only been overtaken then previously by Kvyat and Magnussen, he then got overtaken by the Force India, and now he's having to defend from Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen. Not too far down the road is also then Verstappen, who looks to have just overtaken Nico Hülkenberg as well. But there goes Sebastian Vettel down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, and now Ricciardo finds himself in a Ferrari sandwich there. But there also in the background you can see is Verstappen up ahead of Hülkenberg. So it looks like as Verstappen makes his way up the order, Ricciardo is pretty much going the opposite way and going down. And now look at that, Raikkonen has managed to overtake Ricciardo, and now we've got this very interesting situation of, well, Ricciardo awkwardly maybe parking the bus on Verstappen, so much so that into the next chicane you're about to see how much time Hülkenberg pulls back here just in 2 corners. So at the moment, pretty much things are, well, not going to plan, but they're going the best way we could. I don't think we could ever planned for Ricciardo to be this poor at the moment in this race, and so much so that Hülkenberg goes to overtake him then as well. So it is now Verstappen, Hülkenberg and Ricciardo on the road. So things are going very, very well for us. Of course, we're just out there in P3 doing the best job we can, trying to take these super softs as long as we can. On the flip side, Vettel and Verstappen both come into pits from ultra soft tyres, so they can't take the tyres any longer. So it's going to be interesting to see what Verstappen does pretty much here, because he's the only fast Red Bull now left in this race, and he straps on a set of soft tyres. So okay, that may change things a little bit. You can see Vettel's on soft tyres as well. So that may mean, if you remember back to a few races ago, Esteban Ocon, and even in the last race, I think Ocon tried that as well, he took a set of ultra soft long enough to make a one-stop work with ultra soft to the soft tyres. Now, could this be Vettel and Verstappen trying the same thing? And if they are, and if they have enough pace to come in close up to me, then that's a problem, because my one and only card, my only strength in this race pretty much, is this one stop, and being 1 pit stop less than most people, because my pace is not that great around Abu Dhabi. I don't know what it is on this year's game. I'm just very, very slow compared to the AI this year, especially in the last sector and the first sector. Sector 2 is okay. On the first and second last sector, not so much. And so my one only saving grace in this race is the one stop, because if we look at Season 1 as a yardstick, Season 1, I ended that race with pretty much a 10-car train, I think it was, in that Toro Rosso. The Renault, yes, it's an improved car compared to that Toro Rosso, but it's still not feeling amazing. I've had to defend from a Toro Rosso, remember, at the start of this race, so I'm not too sure how this is going to pan out now. This actually was looking like all kind of coming up myself, pretty much. Everything was going my way, but now, with Verstappen and Vettel trying a one-stop, that may just change things, not only for me, but it will also change things maybe for Kimi Raikkonen, because if Raikkonen's doing a 2-stop and Vettel's trying a 1-stop, a very audacious one, you know, that's also going to be very interesting for the championship for Ferrari, because there's only 9 points in it. If Vettel can somehow get onto the podium and Raikkonen's not, then he could definitely get those 9 points. So it's all to play for. We're on lap 14, and we've got 14 laps left in this Grand Prix. We're literally halfway, so it's all to play for. So we move 2 laps later then onto lap 16. Hulkenberg is now made a second pit stop, I believe that was, because he was right behind us, but I think he's pit again because he was on a normal 2-stop there. We're continuing on to close up to Daniel Kvyat, who's pretty much doing the same thing as us. He's trying the 1-stop here today from the super softs to the soft tyres. It takes us till lap 17 though to fully close up to him. We couldn't do it on that second back straight on lap 16, just didn't have the drive off that chicane. You can see we're so much closer now in the hairpin here as we go into the main straight that we should be able to close up and potentially make a little move into the end of this straight and then kind of use that to our advantage to, it won't matter what kind of exit we get then out of that chicane. You can see there, I think that was Hamilton overtaking Verstappen, and now you can see we're going to go down the inside of Daniel here. Here we go, hit the apex, we're going to try and squeeze him to the outside, brake a little bit early, go a little bit left, go a little bit wide, straighten up the car a lot faster, and even technically though Kvyat's got a better exit once again. We're so much closer now compared to the last lap. We open DRS, we move to the left hand side of the circuit. It's a bit of a close squeeze towards that blue painted strip there, but we are going to get it down the inside, and we can see how late we brake compared to Kvyat, so much so that we go a little bit deep and we have to defend a second time there, but we do get it and we're up into P5. But now is where things get a little bit frustrating now. You saw up ahead is Max Verstappen here. Here he is in P4, chasing after Hamilton P3, Bottas P2. It's Vettel who actually leads the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the moment on this 1-stop there. So that's going to be a bit nerve-wracking for Kimi Raikkonen, who is behind myself and Daniel Kvyat. And speaking of Raikkonen, here he is on a charge. He's behind us in what is now P7, I think that is. If we're in P5, yeah, that's correct. He's in P7 at the moment. He's got clean air. He's on a charge. He is going to close up to us eventually. And so this is a tricky situation because Raikkonen is going to close up to us pretty damn rapidly. So what do I do? Because realistically, I can't. I don't think I can hold him up for an entirety of like 10 laps will it be. And up ahead, for Raikkonen's sake, you would think Raikkonen's going to be pushing like a stabbed rat to try and overtake us, because at the moment Vettel's in P1. That's a win. That just wouldn't do, that wouldn't be enough for Raikkonen. So Raikkonen has to pray he can get past us, and he has to pray that the 2 Mercedes cars can overtake Vettel. And for myself, I don't even know what I'm praying for, because now we're on lap 22, 6 laps to go. Raikkonen's taken a little bit longer than I thought he would to close up to us, but with 6 laps to go, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to hold up Raikkonen this long, and he's right on the back of Kvyat now. So I think I need to take a little bit of a gamble and put my faith in Kimi here a little bit, as now Kvyat's going to get overtaken by Raikkonen. Raikkonen's going to dive it round the outside. We brake a little bit early. We're going to defend from the rush-in, and we're going to keep P6, but Raikkonen now is up into P5, and I've set him free now, so look at him scurry off already with the amount of pace he's got. It's only literally been 2 corners, and he's already got a ridiculous amount of time on us. But now, pretty much, I need to hope that Raikkonen goes and overtakes Verstappen, and obviously, for his own sake, he's going to try and maybe go and chase the 2 Mercedes cars and his teammate Vettel. But more crucially, I need him to try and overtake Verstappen now. But you can see, look at the pace difference. That is just crazy. I know it's not maybe the car, it's all to me as well, but that is just so just annoying to look at. Just the Ferrari pulling away so easily compared to us. And now, later on the Grand Prix, let alone worrying about if Raikkonen can overtake Verstappen, I need to worry about if I can even keep P6, because Kvyat goes around the outside. We defend to the inside, very harshly indeed, to the point where Daniel's now having to defend from, I think it's Romain Grosjean this is, in the hat. And he's got so much speed here that he's also going to try and maybe slipstream us to maybe overtake us. He's got DRS open as well as we spark away into the brake zone. We got very defensive on the left-hand side. He dives it around the outside. We lock up on the left side very harshly, and we just about, by the skin of our teeth, keep that ahead, because Grosjean was coming at a rate of knots there. He got such a good exit off that chicane, and also got the slipstream toe off Kvyat that he was going really quite fast. And now onto lap 27, the second last lap of the Grand Prix. Grosjean comes back at us down the inside. We have to try and nip it to the inside of the second part of the chicane, so we close. A bit of contact being made there on the left. We're neck and neck almost on the exit as our left front tyre lines up with his rear right. We open DRS now. Rich mix as well. We haven't got too much rich mix, so we have to be a bit careful, but we try and re-overtake him now on the right hand side. We do get it. We move to the inside a little bit as we start the braking point, and now back up into P6. So we've just about managed to defend from Grosjean there to keep P6 in this race. But as we go through to the last lap of the Grand Prix, that is Max Verstappen crossing the line, that was in P4, and that is Kimi Raikkonen crossing the line in P5. Now, he hasn't done the job, and I don't know what the maths was before this race. I can't remember how many points we had against Red Bull, but I don't think that was enough. I don't think that's enough. I think we've actually lost this. I think we've actually lost P3. And for Raikkonen's championship hopes, I'm not too sure what that means either, because Lewis Hamilton has won the Grand Prix, but I don't know if Vettel came second or third. But as we come across the line, that is P6 for us. I can see just in the background Hulkenberg potentially there in that train could have got P10, but I just don't know at this stage what has actually gone on now.
At the start of the season as to whether this package could really go all the way, but there's no question anymore. What a special year it's been. And here they are now, the new Formula One World Drivers' Champion.
So there you have it. Kimi Raikkonen is your World Drivers' Champion for technically what will be 2018, but Season 2 anyway, whatever way it is, for the F1 2017 career mode. So Lewis Hamilton won it in Season 1. He won this Grand Prix, but he's not going to defend his championship. It's going to be Kimi Raikkonen that takes it there and takes it for Scuderia Ferrari. I believe Ferrari also win the Constructors there. So what seemed like in Season 1 a very dominant and consistent performance from Mercedes has pretty much been toppled by Ferrari this season, because Ferrari have been the ones that have been pretty damn consistent. Yes, Vettel's had a bit of bad luck, but pretty much whenever one has not been performing, the other Ferrari has. And Vettel has definitely come in at a bit of a resurgence at the end of the season, and that has meant a very strong finish for Ferrari in the Constructors. But you can see confirmation there. We have lost third place to Red Bull Racing. We did not get it. Kimi had to overtake Verstappen, and he did not. And yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe in hindsight, I should have maybe tried my best to defend from Raikkonen, but you saw the pace difference there. Raikkonen pulled 15 seconds on me in like 5 laps. The amount of pace he had, I would have had to play so dirty to defend from Raikkonen and Kvyat there at the same time. So I just don't think we could have done it. Anyways, we move on then. We do get resource points though, a bonus for the end of the season. To be honest, I'm a bit miffed at how much we've got. Only like 1,500 or 1,600. That's just like nothing. That's pretty much going to that's going to be eroded in like 2 upgrades, which... yeah, that's a little bit frustrating. I was thinking more like, you know, could we get like a nice 3k added on? I mean, we just brought a Renault to nearly P3 in the Constructors. We won a race this season in the Renault. I would have liked to think maybe Renault could inject like 3k, but no, they've decided to only inject 1.5k, which is really not that much. But anyway, we move on then swiftly through, you know, everything else, the reputation and whatnot, to the most important part then of this episode then towards the end, which is the contract event. Obviously, we had that mid-season one, and now, you know, then I rejected all my offers and stay with Renault mid-season, and now we're going to get offered 3 new opportunities, which are going to end up being the same as our mid-season one. It's going to be Red Bull Racing, Ferrari, or Mercedes. Now, I'm going to say I'm not going to be probably picking Ferrari or Mercedes, because I think it's way too early in the game cycle to be picking one of these teams for a vanilla career mode. So I'm going to leave it for now. You know, the opportunity to drive for Ferrari or Mercedes will come in the future, because we saw, you know, the reputation level went down when I rejected them in mid-season, and it's come right back up. So I think we can afford to reject it right now, and I think that drive will come, and I think it's a drive that we want to save for later, later for my career as well, maybe when we've got 1 championship under our belt and we're a bit more proven. The two interesting choices really then are, well, staying with Renault, of course, which we know what that means. Basically, we'll stay as first driver, we'll keep our R&D points, and we'll just go as we have done, pretty much like we have from where we left off here at the Abu Dhabi. Red Bull, though, is a bit more of an interesting case of this time round. You can see that yellow icon. They want to offer us the first driver straight away off the bat. Remember, when we came to Renault, we had to start off as second driver and earn our first driver. Red Bull want to give us first driver straight away. I don't know what that would mean in terms of who our teammate ends up being, but I'm torn. I'm torn at which one to pick, to be honest. And as I'm recording this commentary, I'm still yet to decide. Genuinely still yet to decide. So I'm going to leave you guys hanging. I have some thinking to do of what I want to do here. But at the end of the day, I know there will be a vocal group of people in the comments for the next episode, 41, that will be disappointed with whatever I've decided either way, really. But at the end of the day, also, it is my choice. It is my career mode. You know, I'm the one having to put in the hours of driving that you don't see. You know, it's all edited down to 20-minute videos usually. You know, there's countless amount of hours that you just don't see that I have to put in. So if that's the case, then I need to be, you know, I need to be comfortable and kind of, you know, enjoying what I'm doing with Season 3. So, you know, I'm going to make the choice eventually. I still haven't decided, but, you know, I know there will be some people who are upset either way. But, you know, that's how it works. You know, you can't kind of please everyone. So hopefully, either way, you guys will be looking forward to Season 3. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed Season 2 nonetheless. And smash that like button if you have. And if you have enjoyed the entirety of Season 2, hit that like button. It'd be absolutely awesome, guys. If we would try and maybe aim for 3,000 likes on this episode, that'd be absolutely crazy just to round out Season 2 with a bang. Let me know what you thought of that race and the entire season in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.